With pilots now voting overwhelmingly to authorize a strike and the union holding the power to walk off the job as early as December 10th, the pressure is building on both sides of the bargaining table. The dispute comes at a time when holiday travel is ramping up, leaving many Canadians wondering whether their upcoming flights could be affected. To help us break down what this vote really means and what travelers should be preparing for, we're joined by aviation expert John Graddick. John, thank you so much for the time today.
My pleasure to be with you, Teresa.
Now, first off, how significant is this strike authorization vote from Air Transat pilots?
Oh, it is significant. This is a shot across the bow at Transat. Negotiations have been going on since January of this year in earnest, and they're dragging. And I think they went out for a strike vote, got 98% of the pilots to participate, and got a 99% strike vote, affirmative strike vote to go. So they've got the hammer to basically look for a strike. They now have the cooling off period ends on December 10th, at which time they can go on strike, and they can issue a strike notice 72 hours prior to that date. So on the 7th of December, we should be hearing from the pilots as to whether or not they are going to walk out on the 10th of December.
Now, for our viewers who may not follow aviation labor issues closely, what does a strike authorization actually mean? And how close are we to an actual strike?
We're close. We've seen this before, though. This is a pattern bargaining process by the union, by ALPA. We've seen this happen with WestJet pilots about a year and a half ago. We saw this happen with Air Canada's pilots earlier this year, and we're seeing it with Transat pilots. So this is pattern bargaining, a pattern process where they get as many of the memberships to go out to vote, and they get overwhelming support for a strike vote. So there is a that there is a union appetite for a strike. My question is there a membership appetite for a strike? The pilots have never struck Air Transat in its history. So this is brand new ground for some of these pilots. And I think there is some trepidation on the part of the pilots as to whether, in fact, they really will take the street to walk off the aircraft and park Air Transat's airplanes.
And to never see a strike with Air Transat pilots is a fact that I actually didn't know. And so, what are the key issues driving this dispute?
Well, the Air Transat's pilots are coming off a master agreement with Transat that's 10 years old. And in that master agreement, you've got, 60 or 70 different chapters or clauses that cover everything from vacations to bidding systems to time off to, things like leave and parental leave. There's a whole bunch of conditions as well as salary. And so, what Transat has been doing with its pilots over the last 10 years is that they have negotiated salary adjustments over the few years. I think they've done two or three over the life of that 10-year contract, but that 10-year contract still is in place as it was 10 years ago. So there's a lot of work that has to be done to refresh that contract, as well as adjust for wages that have evolved beyond Air Transat's wage package with both WestJet and Air Canada's pilots.
And what impact could a strike or even just the threat of one have on Air Transat operations and passengers, especially during the holiday season?
Well, the impact is already being felt. I think passengers who are looking to book travel over the Christmas holidays are thinking twice about Air Transat. So Air Transat's feeling, a downturn in terms of bookings, and but the flights are full for the most part. Fares are very high. This is as peak of the season as you're going to get, and everybody wants to leave on the 22nd of December, and everybody wants to come back on the 2nd of January. So and everybody's full, including Transat. So there's not much capacity out there in the marketplace to be able to handle a shutdown of Air Transat space. So the Canadians should rightfully be concerned about the strike happening.
And with this news coming out, what should travelers booked with Air Transat in December and January be paying attention to right now?
Pay attention to the news and watch what's going on with respect to releases both by the pilots and by the company. December 7th is probably the next key date in this run up to a strike. So between now and the 7th, if there is no agreement, if there's no process and no progress. December 7th, the next day, but I'm pretty sure we'll get a settlement. I think Air Transat knows that this is a very key period of time for them to fly. So the odds of a strike are pretty well zero to none.